I'm going to be making some sushi. It won't be raw vegan, it'll be vegan, but I've decided to cook some broccolini. So I steamed it quickly with the mung bean sprouts that I sprouted, and then I plunged it into cold water. And I made this out of parsnip, soaked organic walnuts and sunflower seeds and ginger and garlic and coconut aminos and oh, I can't remember. That might be it. Anyway, you can make your fake rice out of whatever. Oh, parsnip pulp. Did I mention the parsnip pulp? That's the main ingredient. Anyway, you can make it whatever pulp you like. The hard root vegetables work really well for that. And I'm using orange bell pepper. What were these little tomatoes called? I'll let you know later. I can't remember. And maybe Murano? I don't know. Anyway, I sliced those up, and I sliced up some apple. And I put lemon juice on the apple so that it would be less likely to brown. So I used a sweet apple, because otherwise it'd be too tart. And red onions will be going into the mix. And I sliced up these kohlrabi, so they're thin. And then I have this Asian green that will be in there. So let's see how this goes. My battery will probably die right away, so you might not get to see the whole action, but I'll try to do what I can. So you take out a sheet and you put there's a shiny side and a coarser side. You put the shiny side down because it'll look better. And then you just arrange some of the things. Like you might want to, it depends on, oh, I forgot to mention, I'll show you, I'll arrange it with this then, because I forgot to mention that I even have this to go in it. So shiitake mushrooms and beet. So, well, whatever. You put whatever you want in whatever order you want. Normally I'd put the carrots and the chives down first, but I'm not using chives. So this time, and I'm not using carrots. I was going to use carrots, but then I thought, well, I have the orange from the bell pepper. Do I really need the carrots? So I'm not putting the carrots. We'll see how this goes. So you do it closest to you, like the closest, you work within the closest third, and then you wrap her up. So you put your vegetables on to cover up the nori, the seaweed. There. Okay, and then you take your, in this case, parsnip, and it looks kind of like tuna salad. So, I mean, you can get really creative with these raw vegan kind of additions to your diet with, like, because this is it's pretty common to do this sort of thing for making raw vegan sushi. In this case, mine is not going to be, because the broccolini has been steamed. But everything else is raw vegan, and if I wanted to, I could just leave the broccolini out, and this would be raw vegan. So, and it smells amazing. Oh, this is going to be so good. And you try not to use your fingers that much, because you'll end up, it won't be as neat and tidy at the end. So you try to smooth that out nice. And whatever. And then put whatever you want in there. So I'm going to stick a broccolini and some. You try to keep them in a row so that it will look nice when you cut them. But you know, I'm really not that good at rolling these things, I've got to say. It's not awesome. Some people keep a spray bottle of water and just spritz it. But I found that it doesn't work any better that way. So whatever, this is what I'm doing. And you definitely try not to do that. Anything you touch with the beet, it's going to end up kind of beet colored. So you try to keep that separate, right? Like when I was putting, I was careful about container sharing, because the shiitake mushrooms, they're brown, the beets are purple, they kind of read the same, right? So if I get a little purple on my brown, I don't care. But if I were to put the beets with the apple, well, that would not work out very well at all. My apple would have been purple. And a lot of eating, like they say, you eat with your eyes first, right? So you want this thing to be as pretty as possible. And I'm putting way too much stuff in here. I shouldn't have put this much stuff. Anyway, you'll see what happens. You should try to not put so much stuff in. And again, these are not straight, so it's not going to look as pretty. You should try to cut your vegetables straight. And, well, in this case, apple. And you could use something else instead of apple. You don't have to use apple. And you definitely don't have to use this much of this stuff. I put way too much stuff, it's going to be very hard to roll. And you can use whatever kind of tomato you want. I mean, basically whatever you have, whatever kind of vegetable stuff you have going on in your fridge that you think, hey, will that work in sushi? Yep, it will. Just stick it right in there. It'll be great. And like normally I would put cucumber in here. Well, I didn't have any cucumber. Last week I did. And I try to keep this all covered up so that it doesn't get bothered by insects or whatever, because I'm outside. I'm just going to rip this up. And you can use lettuce if you want to, or spinach, or whatever Asian green you want to use. And it's going to be difficult.